She was just a cashier, overworked, overlooked, and one bad day away from losing everything. He was the billionaire CEO in disguise, walking into his own restaurant to uncover the truth. What he found: a broken system, a toxic manager, and a young woman silently drowning in struggle. But what happened next changed everything. This isn't just about business. It's about humanity, second chances, and a secret that turns the entire restaurant upside down. It was just another busy Monday morning when Jordan Keller, the founder and CEO of Flamestone Grill, stepped out of his luxury black Escalade wearing a wrinkled polo, faded jeans, and a baseball cap pulled low. He looked nothing like the billionaire. Restaurateur featured in Forbes and everything, like a tired man trying to make a few bucks as a new hire. That was exactly the look he was going for. This was his latest idea, a secret visit to one of his franchises, fully undercover. He wanted to see the real deal, not the polished version his managers showed when they knew corporate was watching. This particular branch was in East Haven, a mid-sized town known more for its working-class struggle than anything else. It had recently been flagged for high employee turnover and complaints about toxic management. Jordan didn't like what he'd heard. He walked in through the back door just before the breakfast rush. No one batted an eye. He was just another training employee sent by corporate. That's what the regional manager had told the team. Jordan had made sure of that. The manager on duty, a short, loud man named Todd, greeted him with a grunt and a glance at his cheap sneakers. "You the new guy?" "Jordan, right?" Todd said, not even offering a handshake. Jordan nodded. "Yep." "First day." Todd just rolled his eyes. "Grab an apron, keep your mouth shut and stay out of my way." Jordan raised an eyebrow but said nothing. He was already starting to understand the problem. The restaurant was a mess. Dishes piled in the back, the floor was sticky, the kitchen, staff looked exhausted, and the air was heavy, like people were afraid to breathe too loud. But nothing prepared Jordan for what happened next. He was just learning how to use the register at the front counter when he noticed a young woman, maybe in her early 20s, standing stiffly by the soda machine. Her name tag read Emily. Her eyes were red, her lips trembling, and though she tried to keep her head down, a tear rolled quietly down her cheek. Jordan leaned over and asked gently, "Hey, you okay?" She flinched, clearly not expecting kindness. "I'm fine," she whispered, but the lie hung heavy between them. Before Jordan could say more, Todd came storming from the back. "Emily, I told you 10 minutes ago to refill the damn cups. What are you standing there crying for? Jesus, are you a baby or a worker?" Emily jerked forward like she'd been slapped. Jordan's blood ran cold. Todd didn't stop. "You think I won't? Cut your hours? You think you're special because you cry like a little—" "That's enough," Jordan said, louder than he'd intended. Todd spun around, eyes narrowed. "Excuse me?" Jordan steadied his voice. "I said that's enough. You're embarrassing her and yourself." Todd snorted. "And who the hell are you to talk to me like that? You've been here 10 minutes. Jordan didn't answer. Not yet. He wasn't ready to blow his cover, not until he got the full picture. Todd muttered something under his breath and walked off, but not without giving Emily one last glare. Jordan turned to her again. "Are you sure you're okay?" She nodded slowly, wiping her cheek. "I'll be fine, I always am." But Jordan knew that was another lie. He didn't know what had happened to her, but whatever it wasn't small, and it wasn't the first time. He decided right then he wasn't just going to fix a restaurant today, he was going to save a life. Jordan kept his eyes on Emily as she rushed to the back room, probably to hide her tears or get herself together. He could see her shoulders, trembling even as she tried to walk fast. The image of her red, swollen eyes stuck in his head like a needle. He wasn't used to feeling this kind of burn in his chest, not in business, not in any boardroom. But this was different. This was... "Bah!" He glanced around the restaurant. No one seemed surprised by what had just happened. A few employees gave Emily a passing glance, but most kept their heads down, moving like robots. A girl crying and being screamed at by the manager? Just another Monday. Jordan had seen enough to know this wasn't a one-time incident. It was a pattern. A system that let people like Todd walk around barking orders, crushing spirits and calling it managing. If this was how things ran when no one was watching, he had failed his team, and not just in business. For the next hour, he played the part, taking orders, cleaning trays, refilling the soda machine, all while quietly watching Todd. The man was a walking red flag. He micromanaged, insulted the cooks, threatened to dock people's hours, and talked behind employees' backs. Worse, no one said a word. They were too scared. Eventually, during a lull in customers, Jordan slipped into the back kitchen to find Emily. She was sitting on a crate near the walk-in freezer, hugging her knees to her chest. Her eyes widened when she saw him. "I'm sorry," she said quickly. "I didn't mean to break down. I'll go back." "You don't need to apologize," Jordan said softly. "Can I sit?" She nodded, wiping her nose with her sleeve. He sat across from her. "That guy, Todd, does he always talk to you like that?" Emily hesitated. "Not just me. He does it to everyone. I guess I just had a rough morning, and it hit harder today." "What happened this morning?" he asked gently. She looked down at her shoes. "I got a call from my sister's school. She got suspended again. I'm trying to keep custody of her after our mom passed, but..." Her voice cracked. "If I lose this job, I can't pay rent, and if I can't pay rent, they'll take her away from me." Jordan's jaw tightened. He hadn't expected this. "How old is your sister?" 14, Emily whispered. "I'm 23. I work double shifts just to keep the lights on." "I thought I was doing okay, but..." "You are doing okay," he interrupted, his voice calm but firm. "Better than okay. You're fighting for your sister. You're showing up even when the world keeps kicking you." She blinked at him, confused by the sudden kindness. No one had said those words to her in a long time. Maybe ever. "Why do you care?" she asked. Jordan paused. He wanted to tell her who he really was, but it wasn't the right time yet. "Let's just say I hate bullies, and I don't think anyone should have to work in fear." Emily looked away. "People complain all the time, but nothing ever changes." Jordan stood. "Maybe this time it will." He walked back into the kitchen and found Todd laughing with one of the cooks. Jordan didn't even wait. "Hey, Todd," he said calmly. "I think we need to talk." Todd turned. "Talk? About what?" "About what happens to managers who abuse their staff." Todd squinted. "What the hell are you on about?" Jordan pulled off his cap, slowly, then unzipped the hoodie, revealing a collared shirt with the Flamestone corporate logo neatly stitched on the chest. Todd's face paled. Jordan held out his hand. "Jordan Keller, founder, CEO." Dead silence fell across the kitchen. Todd's jaw dropped. Jordan didn't smile. "Let's go to the office. Now." Todd stumbled forward like a man walking to his own funeral, and Emily, still wiping her eyes, in the back room, had no idea that everything in her life was about to change. The office door slammed shut behind Todd with a dull thud. Jordan stood still for a moment, arms folded, staring at the man who had just 2 hours ago barked orders at him like he was trash. Now Todd wouldn't even meet his eyes. "You've been managing this location for how long?" Jordan asked, keeping his voice level. 3 years, Todd muttered, shifting in his seat. Jordan gave a small nod. 3 years? So tell me, is this how you lead people? Screaming at them, humiliating them, threatening their livelihoods? Todd's face flushed. "Look, I didn't know who you were. I don't care who you thought I was." Jordan cut him off sharply. "You think that makes your behavior okay? You think treating a young woman, fighting to keep her family together, like garbage is somehow justified because she's a cashier and you're the manager?" "She's been late," Todd snapped suddenly. "And she's emotional all the time. We've got a business to run. I can't be dealing with people crying all over the soda station. Customers see that and they think we're falling apart." Jordan narrowed his eyes. "You are falling apart, but it's not because of Emily. It's because of you." Todd scoffed, but it came out shaky. "I've got other employees. They'll back me up," Todd said quickly. "They've been here longer than her." "I already spoke to 2 of them on my break," Jordan interrupted. "Same complaints, same fear, same silence. They're tired, Todd. Tired of being scared to clock in." Todd looked down, sweat forming on his brow. Jordan reached into his pocket and pulled out his phone. With a few swipes, he opened the internal report system, a private app his executives used. He clicked Employee Incident Review and typed in Todd's full name. "You're placing me under review?" Todd asked, panic rising in his voice. "No," Jordan said coldly. "I'm terminating you, effective immediately." "What? You can't?" "I can, and I am." Jordan stood tall, voice steady. "You're being removed for cause abusive behavior, creating a hostile work environment, and gross negligence of leadership duties. HR will follow up. Collect your things and leave the premises now." Todd's mouth opened, but no sound came. He stood slowly, shoulders sagging, like all the air had been punched out of him. He knew fighting it was useless. He wasn't just losing a job, he was losing his false sense of power. Jordan didn't watch him leave. Instead, he walked out the office and found Emily again, this time back at the register, trying to smile at a customer, but failing miserably. "Emily," he called softly. She turned, expecting more bad news. "I need you to take a break," he said, his tone gentle. "I'm okay," she said quickly, brushing her hands on her apron. "Please," Jordan insisted. "Just 10 minutes, come with me." She hesitated, but something in his voice made her follow. He led her to a small booth near the back where it was quiet, and they sat across from each other. "I'm going to be honest with you now," Jordan said, pulling his cap from the table and placing it beside him. "My name is Jordan Keller. I own Flamestone Grill, all of it." Emily blinked, confused. You're the CEO?" "I am." She stared at him, stunned. "Why are you here? Why undercover?" "Because I wanted to know what was really happening. And what I found today at what I saw you go through was unacceptable." Tears welled up in her eyes again, but this time from disbelief, not fear. He continued, "Todd has been fired, he won't be back. And as of now, this store is going through a full investigation and overhaul. No more silence, no more bullying." Emily covered her mouth with her hand. "But I'm not stopping there," Jordan added. "I want to help you, and your sister." Emily's eyes widened. "What?" "I have resources. We have a hardship fund set up for employees in crisis, and I'll personally make sure your rent is covered for the next 6 months. We'll also get your sister a school counselor and anything else she needs." She started crying again, this time letting it all out. I don't know what to say." "You don't have to say anything," Jordan said, placing a hand over hers. "You just need to keep showing up, keep fighting for her, and know that this time, someone's fighting. For you too." For the first time in weeks, Emily smiled, a small, broken but real smile, and in that moment Jordan knew this undercover mission had turned into something much bigger than he ever planned. The next morning, the atmosphere inside the East Haven Flamestone Grill felt like someone had opened a window and let fresh air rush in. The kitchen was cleaner. Music played softly over the speakers, something that hadn't happened in months, maybe years. Even the fry cook, James, who usually grunted instead of speaking, had cracked a joke before the lunch rush. Emily walked in through the front entrance instead of slipping through the back like usual. Her steps were slower but lighter. The dark circles under her eyes were still there, but now they looked like battle scars rather than signs of defeat. She had slept, not perfectly but enough. She had cried, not from stress but from release. And she had called her sister last night and told her everything. Jordan was already inside, sitting at the corner booth with a cup of coffee and a tablet in hand. No bodyguards, no fancy watch, just a man who had come back because he wanted to see the healing continue. When Emily spotted him, she walked over. "Hey," he looked up with a warm smile. "Hey yourself, how are you feeling today?" "Strange," she said honestly. "Like I'm waking up from a really bad dream I've been stuck in for months." "Sometimes that's exactly what change feels like." She slid into the booth across from him. "I don't know how to thank you. What you did, no one's ever done anything like that for me. Ever." "You don't need to thank me," Jordan said. "You showed up every day and gave this place everything you had, even when it gave you nothing back. You did what most people can't. You endured." She looked down at the table. "I almost quit last week." "I know," he said. "But you didn't. And that's why you're sitting here right now." There was a pause. Then Emily cleared her throat and said something she had been holding in since last night. "What happens next? To this place, I mean." Jordan nodded. "I'm putting someone new in charge, someone with actual empathy. We're also launching anonymous reporting tools, revising training programs, and rotating corporate audits unannounced. No more hiding abuse behind closed kitchen doors." Emily let out a breath of relief. "That's a lot." "It's a start," Jordan said. "But there's one more thing I want to do, if you're open to it." She looked up at him curiously. "I want to move you into a leadership program," he said. "You've got the heart, the instincts, and now the experience. I think you'd make a great assistant manager, eventually maybe more." Her jaw dropped. "You want me to manage?" "With the right mentorship, yes. I've already spoken to corporate about fast-tracking your training. You'll still have time for your sister, and we'll adjust your hours to fit both lives. No pressure, but the offer is real." Emily blinked rapidly, trying not to cry again. "I never thought my life would be anything more than this counter," Jordan smiled. "Sometimes it takes the right crack in the wall to let the light in." Just then the front door opened, and a young girl with curly hair and a stubborn chin walked in, scanning the place. Emily stood up and waved her over. Her sister, Jordan, stood too and held out his hand. "You must be Kayla." She gave him a suspicious look, then looked at Emily, who nodded. "This is Jordan," Emily said. "He's kind of the reason everything's okay now." Kayla gave a slow nod. "Cool. So, can we get free food?" Jordan laughed. "Absolutely. On the house." The three of them sat down, and for the first time in forever, Emily felt like life was giving her something back. Not money, not a handout, but a chance.